Indonesia, the Southeast Asian country, has over 17,000 islands and has the fourth most people in the world after China, India, and the United States. It has more Muslims than any other country on earth, with nearly 90% of its 282 million people following Islam.
Hello! High five!
While Bali gets all the hype, Cece and I wanted to visit Java, where over half of Indonesians live. We landed in Yogyakarta, and the first morning we had tickets to visit Prambanan, the largest Hindu temple in Indonesia, and the second largest in all of Southeast Asia. The temple, originally built in the 9th century, is magnificent, and the towering 154-foot central building is really impressive. Once again, we had woken up at the crack of dawn to get out here early, as we knew that with the Yogyakarta region having nearly 4 million people, there would undoubtedly be loads of visitors on a Saturday. Thankfully, they allow you to walk up and around many of the main structures, so that you can really appreciate the details and scale of this uniquely Indonesian UNESCO World Heritage Site. Cece and I enjoyed climbing up and down the structures, which were peaceful and quiet in the humid early morning. After a quiet first half an hour, school groups started to arrive en masse. The kids were really excited to say hello, practice their English, and most importantly, take a picture with us before saying goodbye.
How many years do you have been together? We've been together for 3 years. It's very beautiful.
Okay, thank you!
It was fun to have so many groups of kids, most of them wearing their matching uniforms, come up and be thrilled to meet us. After chatting and taking at least a dozen pictures, we made our way out of the main temple area. The entire Prambanan Park area is quite large, so we wanted to explore the other temples as well. Candi Lumbug was surprisingly quiet and was a nice 5-minute stroll away from the crowds we had just left behind us. Siwu Temple was next. Siwu Temple is a massive Buddhist temple built in the 8th century. It was particularly impressive and had maybe 1% of the people. We enjoyed the freedom we had to walk around wherever we wanted. Some UNESCO sites like this are extremely controlled. However, the Prambanan site was quite chill, especially after we left the most popular area. Siwu Temple was absolutely beautiful as well. We cruised up and down the rock stairs and through the amazing stone courtyards lined with pillars. We had thoroughly enjoyed our visit inside the amazing Prambanan and Siwu complex, but we still had one more temple within walking distance to add on to the morning, so we walked another mile or so over to Plausan Lower Temple. Candi Plausan covers an area of 22,000 square feet and had a few locals, however we were clearly the only foreign tourists here. It was fun to walk around the impressive temple grounds for a good half an hour. It was now getting on towards 11 a.m., and the middle of the day sun was pouring down on us, as we had been sweating since we stepped outside this morning. We got a lift to go downtown to a market which had a good line of locals at a street food stand that was clearly the place to be. We waited in line for a good 10 or 15 minutes to get our 10 skewers of chicken and fat, as they called it, which were heavily seasoned and literally just melted in our mouths. It cost us $3 total for all of our skewers and a plate with tofu, sardines, nuts, and rice.
Good? Really good. Really good.
It was a tasty lunch, which we washed down with ginger lemonade. Next, we walked a couple blocks over to Taman Sari, which is the former royal garden of the Sultanate of Yogyakarta. Built in the 18th century, Taman Sari had multiple purposes, given that it had a resting area, workshop, meditation area, defense area, and hiding zone. The central bathing complex is the one of these areas that can be visited and has been preserved throughout the years. It was now blistering hot in the mid-afternoon, so we found a covered tuk-tuk, which we negotiated for $1 or $2 to take us over to Batik, where we wanted to look into taking a batik class, as this ancient art form originates from Java, Indonesia.
This is to maintain or to keep the background color so it stays. You see this?
Thankfully, there was just enough time in the day to complete a 2 to 3 hour batik class where we would make our own batik art. Batik is an art and method of producing colored designs on textiles by dyeing them, having first applied wax to the parts to be left undyed. Cece and I put on our aprons and grabbed our cantines, which is the batik tool of choice with a long handle and a copper spout where melted wax is let out. They were tricky to learn how to use at first, but we slowly got the hang of it. We'd each chosen our own outline and had the guidance of the Batik masters, who were working nearby in the workshop whenever we had a question or doubt. Cece was definitely faster than me in finishing her outline.
All right, looking good.
But I was determined to complete my boy and water buffalo scene. Once we finished the outlines, we passed our projects off to the Batik masters, who filled in some of the areas with traditional Batik patterns to make them look more authentic. Once the wax outlines were all completed, it was time to start dyeing the cloth with the colors of our choice.
It consists of 7 colors: blue, green.
Once we were done dyeing, the dyes were soaked in an acid solution, rinsed with water, and then left in the sun to dry to activate the colors in the dyes. Once the colors had set, the cloth was put into a boiling pot of water to remove all the wax. Art isn't something that comes naturally to me. However, I gotta say that I really enjoyed doing this all-afternoon Batik class, and was so glad that Cece had researched and come up with this wonderful idea. Cece and I, with a watchful eye and help of the Batik masters, had created 2 fun, colorful Batik projects.
Looks good.
It would be perfect to take with us, and it was really a memorable, hands-on travel experience. It had been a full day and we were ready for some dinner, so we got a lift back to the Malioboro pedestrian street in the heart of Yogyakarta, walked around for a bit, and then got some rest. The next day we rented a moped for $5 so that we could brave the Yogyakarta traffic and get outside of the city to see some of the tea plantations and waterfalls west of the city. Thankfully, outside of Yogyakarta the roads opened up a bit, and we weaved our way up the quieter mountain roads as we gained elevation and headed into the lush foothills around the city that provide the perfect climate for one of the best spots to grow tea in Indonesia, which is the world's 7th largest tea producer. We and our rear ends were happy to get off the mopeds and finally arrive in Kebun Tea, Inglingu. We walked through the rows of the tea plantation, enjoyed the views, and sampled some of the fresh tea made right there from the source. Having the moped up here was great as we cruised along until we found another beautiful plantation to stop at, where we could walk through the rows and observe the workers who made their way down the rows harvesting the tea leaves. As Cece is a big fan of tea, it was really fun for us to walk among these beautiful and peaceful plantations, which were such a welcome change from the busy city. We couldn't believe that we were literally the only visitors at both plantations, but we were not complaining. After our tea experiences, we pulled out our phones to see if there was anything else up this way, and we stumbled across Sungai Mudal, which is a waterfall area that had some good reviews, so we drove about 30 minutes over to check it out. We started at the bottom pool and hiked our way up along the trails and bridges. We were pleasantly surprised to find that the trail went up past one waterfall after another after another. There were a few locals enjoying the turquoise water and swimming in the refreshing pools. We hadn't brought our swimsuits, but nonetheless we really enjoyed seeing this beautiful waterfall park with its countless waterfalls and pools. Halfway between the waterfall park and Yogyakarta, we found a local restaurant with good reviews and set right next to some nice rice fields. We had no idea exactly what we were eating, but we enjoyed most of the things we tried, such as boiled veggies, peanut sauce, seafood, and a banana leaf rice dish, among others.
Spicy?
We cruised back into Yogyakarta, got some local juice, and dropped off the moped and called it a day. For our final day in Yogyakarta, we had reserved tickets for the largest Buddhist temple in the world, Borobudur.
On the wall, we have 1,000 carving. There are about 1,460 frame stories.
This impressive UNESCO World Heritage Site is the #1 reason why most people visit Yogyakarta. We walked up towards the complex and climbed up the stairs of the gray anisette-like stones into the main temple complex, which consists of 9 stacked platforms, 6 square ones and 3 circular, topped by a central dome. It is decorated with 2,672 relief panels and originally 504 Buddha statues. We had reserved the more appealing temple grounds structure ticket, which allows you not only to visit the temple grounds, but also climb the temple structure, which for us was clearly the best part. After the 45 minutes or so with our guided group, we were given the last half hour or so to climb around the temple structure on our own. This was our favorite part by far, as we had some freedom to walk around as we pleased without having to stick right behind our guide. Borobudur is a really impressive sight, and it's one of the iconic places in all of Indonesia. While Bali is the most popular island for tourists, Borobudur is the single most visited attraction in all of Indonesia. We enjoyed walking all over the temple area, despite being required to use the little cheap sandals that they gave us that hurt our feet. Finally, it was time for us to leave the temple structure of the biggest Buddhist temple in the world and make our way down towards the exits. We found one more place close to Borobudur that had caught our eye to visit. When we saw Bukit Rema online, which is a large 7-story prayer house in the shape of a bird, we knew that we had to visit. The Chicken Church, as it is known, was a joy to visit as we climbed all the way up the stairs to look out from the crown of the chicken and try a free sample of food. It was definitely a fun add-on. Yogyakarta is a great spot to base yourself for a few days in Java to get a feel for some of the most iconic places in Indonesia. We thoroughly enjoyed our time visiting this hotspot for history and natural beauty. Yogyakarta, known as the cultural heart of the island of Java, is a fantastic place to get a feel for the island that 156 million Indonesians call home.
Hello! High five!
It is very beautiful.